Hey guys, welcome back to the Wolves Only podcast. We already got started without you guys. So today, this is fucking really cool.
Yeah, it is.
This is why I'm so proud to be able to do what I get to do, because I get to be around the best people. I already surround myself with the best people. And if you guys haven't learned and haven't been watching this series of podcasts, today is really special because I got these two gentlemen right here, and two of the best people that are in my life that I know. Brandon, obviously you've already been on the show, and just it was cool that you decided to just drop in today. And I was like, well, shit, you're on the show again today. Yeah, for sure. And Brandon's my coach, and also JWX guy. But Viet, man, it's been like since getting to know you, since first meeting you, every time I get to talk to you, see you, everything, it always makes my day.
Oh man, that's amazing to hear, because you talk to so many people.
Well,
Your network, it's so tremendous. And to hear that, I'm extremely flattered, because I always feel like, who the hell am I,
Well, there's something, yeah. So your attitude, your energy, and all of that are incredible, and that's what I like to keep around me. Is we were talking about this before you came in about like your reaction, the way that you care. Like you don't realize this, maybe you do, but you engage with people when communicating to the point where it makes you feel special. Makes me feel like I'm heard, makes me feel like I'm cared about. And that's a great quality to have. I don't need that for me to live, but I do need that, right? Everybody wants to feel heard. Everybody wants to feel cared about. And the most amazing quality that a coach, even a coach, just a person should have, is the ability to listen, to learn, and to care about what the other person feels. And, it's you have that. It's something that you have. The other thing, and I don't want to cut you off, but the other thing is that we share interests. And other than the fitness side of things, maybe you don't know this, but Viet's been a watchmaker his entire life.
A watchmaker.
So yeah, now explain what a watchmaker is.
So watchmaker is pretty much a title that's given to, and it could be many sorts of different kind of watchmakers. When you hear watchmaker, you're thinking I'm sitting at home in a workshop making watches. Not necessarily. So
That was what I thought.
When I trained to become a watchmaker, my dad is a watchmaker. So I apprenticed with him as a kid growing up, and I could have just been a watchmaker and all this sort of stuff. And I said, I don't do it this way, Dad. And he says, what are you talking about? So I've already graduated from college, 2 degrees, took over the business, started growing it. And I told him, I said, if I'm going to be a watchmaker, I want to be a legit certified urologist. That's what they call them, actually. The title of a watchmaker is actually called urologist. We study time machines, pretty much. We call watches. Because the ones that I work on are fully mechanical. There's no battery in it. It's not electrical, which I can work on those quartz movements. But the majority that I spend a lot of my time on, because I have a huge passion for them, is mechanical, fully mechanical automatic timepiece.
Perpetual.
That's what Rolex calls them.
Is that unique to Rolex?
They patented that term, Oyster Perpetual. And you break it down in 2 sections. In the role of Rolex, the way they coined it, Oyster is the case.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a block of 904L steel. It's an exotic super alloy, as they call it. The only other corporation or company that uses that metal, that type of stainless steel, is NASA.
Oh, really?
It's unique in itself that it's coated by chromium.
Okay.
So anytime you polish it or cut it or scratch it or ding it, the chromium that's inside it comes to the surface and seals it.
Wow.
So
I did not know that.
Even stainless steel, when they say stainless steel is like 316L, 306L, those are great stainless steels, but they do corrode still.
Interesting.
Even though they say stainless steel, meaning it doesn't corrode, it still can. But Rolex steel is 904L, so it's like exponentially better.
So when they say like Rolexes are bomb proof, it's
Let me tell you this way. So I could take another high-end watch, and they use stainless steel, let's say 316L, which is great stainless steel. When I polish it, when I refinish it, when I restore the casework and bracelet, it's pretty simple. It's just a wheel and the compound rouge that we use to polish it through that steel like pretty quickly.
oh really?
You have to be careful. And then you got Rolex and same type of bracelet, and I'm putting it to the wheel. That's pretty harsh, and it takes extra time for me to get that finish right. But when it does get right, it's beautiful. It's lustrous. It's a lot more. It takes a lot more cut the steel to make it, right.
Yeah.
To scratch or anything, but when that scratches come out, it's gorgeous.
There's something to the profession of being a horologist or a watchmaker. I mean, I see like a lot of like the meticulous side of you, right? Like, and then that probably goes into everything in your life, right? You've spent your entire life doing this.
Yeah. I mean,
Go, keep going. Yeah.
the fitness, I believe that type of precision into every rep.
I bet.
And you got to feel it. You want to make sure you feel. You don't want to just work out. You want to train.
Right.
There's a difference, If you go out there and bang the exercise out and do 10 reps in 4 sets, I could count pretty good. I mean, we can all count, right? But you make every rep count to its maximum capability, whether it's the stretch, the squeeze, the burn, the time on attention, the tempo, the form, your body's locked in. Are you swinging? Are you swinging the weights? Or are you actually lifting the weights?
It's calculated.
Yeah, everything is measured so that I can get my results exponentially faster over time, versus someone who's just, swinging the weights.
Right.
More. But I mean, going back to Rolex, the oyster case. So they call the movement inside the pearl and the case outside the oyster case. Rolex is unique where they punch it out on a solid block of steel.
Okay.
Even the case back is screwed on. That's punched out too. So then they screw it on. And then you got the screw down crown.
Mm-hmm.
That seals the whole opening where you set the time. And then you got there's always like a bezel or something like that seals the crystal. So that creates the oyster clips. So they deem it pressure proof.
I see.
And then perpetual. So they always put two together: oyster, which is the case, and then perpetual, which is the movement that's automatic. So when we wear it, the kinetic motion of our arm while we're wearing the wristwatch, the movement of our arm is spinning and turning a pendulum in there. That's circular. And it spins and it rotates in there. And as that rotates, it goes through some reduction wheels that gets all the way to the ratchet wheel. That ratchet wheel is connected to the mainspring that has a wound up spring inside, called the mainspring inside of the barrel. So once that winds up, it stores that energy that you moved your wrist on all the way through the reduction wheels down to that mainspring, winding up that mainspring where it stores that energy that you wound up in. And then that's going to allow the watch to continually run.
I see.
As long as you're moving,
It stays going. Typically, they hold for like if you didn't wear it, 48 hours is when you'll probably.
Majority of the time, yeah. So Rolex came out, they said 48-hour car reserve. Although now with the new movements they came out with, particularly the Manus, they came out with a 3200 caliber, and they have a circadian mechanism in there now that they made it more efficient. They recalibrated the dimensions inside the barrel. The rumor is they milled out the inside of the barrel walls to be thinner so they can fit a longer mainspring in there to increase the power reserve.
I see.
So they bumped it up to 72 hours.
Okay.
One mainspring. Other brands, they bumped up their power reserve higher to possibly 72 as well, but they did it with like 2 mainsprings.
Okay.
So there's some positives and negatives out of the two. But Rolex is still, there. I mean, and they really settled the game, man. They do an amazing job.
It's funny because most people don't buy Rolexes with the appreciation of the craftsmanship, what goes into them, and I certainly don't. Right? You buy it for the status.
Yeah. It's a successful crown for every achievement is their motto.
Yep.
So you want to wear a Rolex because, I mean, let's say, you had a major achievement.
Yep.
Whether it be a promotion or awesome job or graduation or the birth of a son or daughter and child. So you're gonna celebrate. You get married. A lot of times my clients come in and the wife gets an awesome rock, beautiful engagement ring that could be 50, 100,000, whatever, right? And she's like, man, I'm gonna repay him somehow. I got this beautiful ring, but I'm just gonna buy him a wedding band, and
Right.
so they go, no, I'm gonna get him a very expensive watch, like something really nice, and commemorate it to our wedding, and that's like his thing, And then the great thing about these is, they're built to last forever, perpetual. Just the automatic assembly in there that keeps winding. But I mean, the amazing thing about Rolex is they're built to last forever, meaning that they're always going to have spare parts. I've done so many vintage pieces that they can.
Well, yeah, you came over the other day and you had like $250,000 of watches in a sleeve. And he was like, I just got to show you this.
I thought you would like that.
And there were 3 Daytonas in there.
Wow.
But all of them were Daytonas, right?
Daytona's, one of them was a very particular piece. It was
Paul Newman, right?
it was just a special piece. That one was, it makes you really, pay attention when you're worried.
Right. And the cool thing is like there's like these little subtle things that Rolex does. They do weird shit all the time. And like for instance, the one I'm wearing right now is the only Rolex that's ever had a 9 o'clock crown and date. Right? The only one.
Left, the right hand wear. So they put the crown on the left side of the case so it doesn't rip into the back of your wrist. I love that piece, man, and it's gorgeous. The black and the green is just, man, can't go.
I already had a Kermit, and I was like, I already have a green Rolex.
But it's got the crown on the other side, which makes it so unique. They're going to probably discontinue it sooner or later.
Why do they do that? Let me ask you this. And I don't want to talk all about watches, but I do want to take a little segment out of this because it is interesting and it's something that I care about, and this is my fucking show. So, no. But
you're talking about anything that you...
Well, this is for you guys more than it is for me. But while I have you here, and there may be listeners that are interested in, Rolex is hot. It's been hot for 100 years, but it's really hot right now, right? There's a lot of people out there talking about expensive watches in general. Everybody's talking about Richard Milles and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I love them. I love the APs. I love my Hublots, but there's something about Rolex that's just different. If
you don't mind,
let me hear.
I'm going to give you a little more insight to Rolex and why Rolex is Rolex.
Okay.
We talk about what we see today because you got the Sprite on, I got the Pepsi.
Yep, I love that Pepsi.
We love our watches, and you know what? But I'm gonna go back to not just what you see today. I mean, in these pieces, this is historically what you see today. It goes way back to the beginning. Hans Wilsdorf was the founder of this brand. He was the creator. He at first didn't make his own movements. He was buying them from England.
Oh,
from another watchmaker,
which is odd because it's usually been Swiss.
This is straight at the beginning. You're talking.
So before Swiss,
wristwatches were really ever even worn. In his diaries today, you can see it. He wrote down and said, "One day I'm going to change the world. It's not going to be pocket watches anymore," because that's what it was back then.
Right.
Think about when Rolex first started. He was ridiculed, and he was said, What are you trying to do? Make everyone wear a wristwatch? No one does that. We wear pocket watches. And he says, no, I'm going to change the game. And he says, I'm telling you the future. It's going to be wristwatches. And so I'm going way back now.
Okay.
So you got to think historically.
When would this be?
Oh, man, early 1900s, something like that.
Really?
Talking about when guys were, on trade ships. That's how they did business. And these guys, they carried timepieces on them, and they wore pocket watches. So they would literally wear it like a necklace, or they would tie a pocket watch to it. And when they wanted to tell the time, they would open it and look at the time. No one wore wristwatches.
Yeah.
And when you're on a trade ship, can you imagine you're in the ocean, right?
Right.
So you can't wear a wristwatch because it'll get moisture and it will destroy the movement. And back then they didn't have electronics and all this and that. And no one made a case that had gaskets and O-rings that sealed the watch, so like a Rolex oyster case, right?
I see.
So Hans Wilsdorf said, I'm going to create the perfect wristwatch. No more, pocket watches. We got to wind it up. So what he did, so I'm getting there, right? So
All right.
first things first, we got to make a watch that has a case that's pressure proof. Can't let water get in it. That's number one priority. So he created the oyster case, screwed on a crown, even the bezel screwed on, sealed the crystal, the back screwed on, and sealed the watch. And he proved it by he hired a swimmer, a lady, a female, I forgot her name, Mercedes. She swam through the English Channel Strait.
Okay.
And went from one coast to the other, one side to the other, and she had a Rolex tied around her neck. And came to the other side, and it was dry, and it made press, and huge press. Back then, that was a big deal. It was a big deal. Because people were wearing pocket watches, and it would rust. It would ruin. And wristwatches, we don't even talk about it. But Rolex, he said, I'm going to create a oyster case that make it waterproof. So you can wear it all day, every day, not have to worry about water. And then he was like, you know what? And another thing is I'm sick and tired of having to wind the watch. So he says, I'm going to create the perpetual movement, which is the automatic movement. No one had that. So what really put Rolex on the map is not just the oyster case and being pressure proof versus nobody else. Nobody else did that. They created a movement that was automatic. So he's self-winding. Everyone's blowing away, like, how the heck? So the amazing thing was he was smart enough to patent it. So he patented that rotor system that winds up the watch, that pendulum in there that I was telling you about, that spins to wind up the mainspring. So I forgot the law, but it was like 50 years or something like that. If you patent it and you get approved, nobody can make it a mechanical movement that has that pendulum that winds up the watch.
Incredible.
So he was the only one that could do it, and it was Rolex. So everyone else tried to copy that without breaking the patent and getting sued. They did bump stop. So it didn't go all the way around. It would bump to the other side, bump.
Right.
Out of there was straight, but they would break. It would ruin. They did it with like an offset rotor. They tried everything they could, but it was not efficient the way Rolex did it until the patent finally ran out. And that's when everyone else came out with theirs. It was too late. Rolex kind of put themselves.
Yeah, they were in.
His wife, she was getting older, and she couldn't see the date. So he created the Cyclops on the glass.
Oh man,
These are true stories.
this is really cool. I love hearing this.
It ended up becoming a pet, and the magnifying crystal for the day. And that's why you see, a lot of the Rolexes have that little bubble over the calendar so you can see the magnification.
Yeah.
That was his first watch. That was dedicated to that.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that he revolutionized the way watches were made. And people don't know that. They don't know that about Rolex. They only see what they see today, and it's awesome, right?
Right. Well, here's something that anyone can take from this story is the bravery to think big.
Yeah.
The being able to find a problem and provide a solution. Not only did it revolutionize the actual idea of timepieces, but it completely changed the game. Now we wear them on our wrist. Nobody cares a pocket watch unless you're like a hipster, right? But his idea was like he built so much credibility. It had nothing to do with actually wearing it on the wrist at first. It was, I'm going to be the first to do this, and I'm going to do it the best. And then everybody else followed to the point now where it is not only is it Rolex, but watches are now worn on your wrist because of his ideas, his leadership. That's leadership. And that is probably the coolest thing about that story is like, this is like the ingenuity, but the care, the meaning that he had behind it all was to provide a source for somebody, a solution for a massive amount of people. Now, almost everybody, even to the point without Rolex, you wouldn't have an iWatch or an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have any of this. And man, thank you for sharing that story, because to me, like, I see it, that it's such there's so much to unpack there that it's like.
I can go on. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just the name alone, Rolex. What word is that?
Yeah.
He was an inventor. Hans Wilsdorf was an inventor. He wasn't a watchmaker. He was literally an inventor. He made it all happen. And he saw the future. He predicted and he made it happen. Like you said, he pushed it forward and just he had an agenda, and he never quit. So the name Rolex comes. He just wanted something simple, unique, that something he made that you can read it in any language, and any country in the world would remember that name. So he wanted something easy, and today you go anywhere, third world country, it doesn't matter. They don't know what a Rolex is.
Yep.
I had special operators come in my store and buy submariners, and I go, "Why are you buying Rolexes? Wear them out battle?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Why? What's that?" And they go, "I can carry bricks of money in my pocket, and when shit hits the fan, and I need my life saved, that brick of money ain't gonna do shit for me.
Right.
But I take this submariner off, and I got a Rolex."
Wow. That's actually really cool.
It's not crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, "Dude, Rolex, unbelievable."
I'll tell you this, just owning one has made me so much money.
Yeah.
Did you borrow one?
Yeah, no problem. Just owning a watch has brought me so many opportunities. Owning an expensive car, owning a Mercedes, right? It puts you in a class of people that have money. So it's definitely, there's a huge upside to, I get taken very serious, when you're traveling and you're in first class, right? And you're going to put your luggage up in the upper thing, and people look up and they see that you have a Rolex and you're in first class with other people that also are wearing Rolexes. You are taken serious. You said it is an achievement thing. Well, of course it is, and people recognize that.
But at the same time, it's symbolic. There's a big symbol of achievement there, success. It's a success symbol.
It is.
I know a lot of clients that came and bought Rolexes from me that said that was their wish their entire life, was to one day have a Rolex. And I was happy to be there for them when that time came. It was a big special moment. I always felt special being there for them in that manner. It's tougher nowadays with the inventory being low that it is. You got guys the day that, you got guys that saved up 10 grand to go buy a sub and walk into my store and be like, "Hey, I finally saved up for a sub,
Yeah. Good luck for 10 grand.
You know what? I don't got it. We don't have any.
Right.
The only way to do that is either you spend a bunch of money at a certain dealer and build a record and enough points or credits or,
Right.
relationship to a point where they finally call you for a sub, and it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars later buying watches that you don't want. Until they finally call you for your submariner.
And that's like the most basic intro one.
Or you can call me and locate one for 14, brand new.
You treat your coaching business like Rolex does. You hold yourself at that level.
You always try to maximize and make the most of every situation. That's how I try to do it. And I don't like wasting time. Time is so important to me now.
The watchmaker doesn't like wasting time.
No. And it always led from when I did work on a watch. I can rush a job and get your watch done quick, but I won't be finishing it because it's going to come back. And I'll end up spending more time trying to find the error or problem.
Get it right the first time.
Right the first time.
You're much more intentional with your time.
Do it again. It's going to not have a problem. And your reputation, precedes itself at that point. That's how I always approach it. If you're going to do it right. Don't mess around. Quit trying to find a hack or.
And I mentored you through starting your online businesses. And I learned this about you, that you were like, I really want to do this right. And I was always like, yeah, just fucking go, just go. And normal people need that, because normal people get the analysis paralysis. Normal people get that. It's not that they're not ready to start, but it's a matter of like, they're not actually lining themselves up for success, setting themselves up for success, where Viet was not analytical. He was a perfectionist. And some people think perfectionism is good. Some people think perfectionism is bad. But I think a lot of people think that they're perfectionists, but they don't know what that even means. Because I consider myself, and I've become perfectionist over the course of putting a lot of work in on myself, but you've always been the way that you are. You've always been in good shape. You've always been clear-headed. You've always been an achiever, right? That's how you mean, I know you, we've talked about this since you were a kid. You've always been very disciplined, very focused. So you being a perfectionist is something that is instilled in you. It's something that I've developed, but you already had. And being a perfectionist at that level, I would imagine that your home is perfectly clean.
Well, with 3 kids, it's a little hard, and had some rough talks.
Yeah.
You try.
Your car is, sometimes I've seen it and been like, what's going on? Let's get that thing washed.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But you always, yeah. No, I know. I've become crazy, like to where like I always have my shit is detailed perfect at all times. I freak out if it's not. But either way, I guess what I'm saying is that like, you definitely know how to put your energy in the right place. And I think that's the level of perfectionism that people need to strive for. Don't become so disattached with reality being a perfectionist, but know where to put your energy in to.
That's funny you bring this up. I just had a conversation with someone, one of my clients, as a matter of fact, and he has a little problem. He's OCD. He's obsessively compulsive, and he wants everything perfect. Just like you said. And so I a lot of times I have OCDness, but I try to do that in a realm of just professionalism. Meaning like job when I'm working on a watch especially, or with my clients, I want everything done right or ironed out and everything's smooth. But outside of that, people like that or like me that have, somewhat of an OCD, I have to break away and be more flexible.
Sure.
Because I don't want it to bleed too hard into my personal life where you're so rigid. And then, you're can't be worked with.
Yeah.
You're hard to work with because of your ways.
Right.
I try not to be that guy.
It is.
It's hard not to be sometimes.
Yeah.
I am who I am, but at the same time, I have to be respectful. Everyone's like that, and everyone has their own opinions or certain ways, or they're different or thoughts, so I have to be a little flexible. But not everyone's like me.
When you hold yourself at a certain standard too, it can often be unapproachable, unrelatable, intimidating, things like that, and I think that all 3 of us at this table know, when we were talking about this earlier, about how some people are, and these are people that you want to help. These aren't people that you want in your circle, right? And you got to know the difference there, because I think a lot of people befriend and bring in a circle based on trying to save that person. And that's not a way to live. But when you have people who are intimidated by your lifestyle, because that's really what this is, it's our lifestyle, right? Whether we're perfectionists, whether we're striving for excellence at all times, that's the way we live, right? I know this about you.
Yep.
I know this about you. And I know this about me. And some people just don't make that cut. And what you said earlier was we have those people where we don't want to come at them with something, whether it's a suggestion, whether it's a celebration, whether it's an achievement, because of the way that that they're going to react, because it's a reflection of them inside, right? Of how they feel about their current situation, their own achievements, their own lifestyle, right? So there's got to be that separation there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've learned a lot about that, just dealing with all my clients that I had to do with different versions of people. I mean, everyone has their own personality. And when you're trying to instill a certain type of lifestyle, especially when it comes to fitness, there's a lot of things that need to be changed. Sometimes with these people, just keep a 7-day log, and you'll see the red flags right away. And it's that simple. I mean, you're sitting there going, man, my brain, I'm going, how'd you not know this? Am I going to have to really talk to you like you're a 3-year-old? But I do. And to me, it's like, it was hard at the beginning because I'm going, man, I didn't know this. But then it's like, someone would come out and tell me, he goes, well, this is how there's been you. This is never you.
Right.
I lived a life of toxicity, no discipline, no structure, whatever. I just blew with the wind type of mentality. And it's hard for me now to do what you do, that you've always done. So be patient with me. They would literally tell me, be patient with me. And I go, yeah, you don't get it. For me to tell you this 5 times already, without blowing it up on your face, it takes a lot for me.
Yeah.
How are you still making the same mistake? It's killing me.
You have to remember though, it's programming, right? This is actually something we were talking about earlier is reprogramming, but you have the way that I coach is I never assume that they already know what I know.
Yeah.
And basically it's like, how can I present this to these people as a second grader could understand it? Because it sounds bad, but it's true. But
Break it down.
yeah, because then you think, right, like second grader, they're pretty fresh and inexperienced. Now you would take an adult who's been programmed a certain way, who's been living a life, is trying to teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Yeah.
So now you take a lot of reprogramming and now asking them to redirect it and reprogram themselves at an age where they're distracted, where they have priorities, where they have, so many other factors and moving parts that's going to make it difficult for them to adhere to a program that is basically a 180, right? So it's basically bringing it down to steps for them where it's like, I'm not going to ask you or expect you to be 100% right off the bat. We're just going to start with baby steps, right? Is adhering to a plan to a percentage that is more than what you're currently doing is going to benefit you widely. So those are the people that are so fun to work with, right? Because if they're able to do that and they truly want to make those changes, they feel it immediately. And they're like, well, I actually feel kind of good today. Or they're like, oh, wow, like my pants are feeling loose.
That's what we feel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We're looking for.
Oh, for sure.
And we have this like expectation of a flip to switch. And that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Not always.
Not always. More often than not, it doesn't, because people tend to fall back into their old ways.
Yeah.
It is programming.
And that's expected.
That's why I got one guy. He's 63, and he's trying so hard. He wants it so badly. But man, the more I try and program at him, somehow, some way, a week later, he's learning back to old habits. And then I got another girl that I'm training, and she's never worked out in her life. And boy, I take her out of my way, and I show her every step of the way, and she picks it up. She's always done it.
Do you ever think, though?
It's unbelievable. Bad habits versus someone clean.
Yeah, I think there's something else there. I do. I think there's something else there. I think that the people who always like go back to reverting is because they want to feel safe and nourished. They like you. That's comforting
It's
to them.
familiar.
It's familiar for you to, so their programming is to lean back into you.
It's self-sabotage too.
It's self-sabotage. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
It is.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that they're not grasping. They're grasping it, but they found something familiar or something that was missing in their life when it's like you're sitting there explaining things, stuff like that. That's actually a pretty, not dangerous, but you don't want to get caught up too much in that. You got to start to set boundaries, because as a coach, as a mentor, our job is to set these people up for success so they no longer need us, right? So when we do this, we're inadvertently, and we don't mean to do it because we mean the best for them. We want to be of service, and we think, oh, they're just not getting it. I got to explain it this way and that way. No, they get it. They get it, but they want the attention. There was something missing, or there is something missing in their life that you're providing them that makes them feel cared about, accepted, understood.
There's a lot with people like that, right, where it becomes cyclic. And I would even go on a limb and ask him, about his past and identify that, because that point, right, is where people need therapy, because it's like, if you can't follow a plan for a week and you start to see progress, and immediately, it could be that they feel undeserving of success, right, in certain realms, or there's going to be something there programming wise that has been part of his past. It's right. Like, all right, prime example, that's probably a little more relatable, is you start talking about toxic women who are like, well, I don't like nice guys. Well, why not? That's because a big part of your childhood and growing up, you had, this type of a father, and that's what you're used to. And you might not even like it, but that's what you're used to. And familiarity is safe. So when you have people that are constantly going back to that, and it's that dopamine release, that's the thing. And so it goes with all realms of life where people go back to their toxic behaviors, and that's no different. So for you,
that reminds me of one of my other things. Mm-hmm. This one in particular, I think it was an ego thing. Mm. Believe it or not.
I believe it.
And the ego comes into, he doesn't care if he's doing it right. He just wants to go right.
Yeah.
And he's at 63, he's hurt himself.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm constantly been telling him, I go, do you burn too heavy? You're not doing it right.
That's his metric.
You're going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. And I go, quit worrying about things. I mean, look at you lifting. And it's not about how heavy you lift. Mm-hmm. You'll get there. But it takes time. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to lift light forever, but right now you got to build that foundation. Let's get the form right and then work your way up to heavy. But he just wants to go straight to heavy. And I'm going, you're going to hurt yourself. Shut up. He hurts himself.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
It's the whole month. Canceled a trip to Italy, all this bit. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell you. And then sure enough, he comes back and promises, I know now I learned my lesson, but it's slow. Mm-hmm. It's slow. So I feel that was the ego. But then there's other guys that I feel, didn't have a father figure. I have some guys that didn't have a father figure. Just everything was disorderly. Mm-hmm. And, they reach out and, they want mentorship, not just coaching, but it's a mentorship program. And that's what I've offered for a lot of guys to change their lives, man. I mean, it's not just, their business, but their personal life, organization. Because let's be frank, a lot of those guys, man, their whole life is chaotic. Mm-hmm. It's just so in disarray. And I'm going, man, you got to clean things up. You got to get things right.
Right.
It starts with discipline. I go, a lot of them, I tell them, let's do something simple. I haven't seen your bathroom, but I can imagine what it looks like. Just seeing the shit that happens in your life, just your daily life.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I go, why does all those bad luck things always keep happening to you?
Right.
It starts somewhere. Mm-hmm. And your life's just full of disarray because you're not organized. Mm-hmm. Once you start cleaning something, I go, come on, let's do something real simple. Just clean your bathroom up.
Yep.
Take a chick home. You're gonna be proud that she's going to go in her bathroom. She's going to close the door and start looking at your bathroom and be like, wow, okay, this looks actually pretty good. Start from there, and then it's going to probably be your bedroom. And then
do you think things like that make sense to people like that when you tell them that?
When I start telling them and I start breaking it down, and I said, let's just start with your personal realm first.
Yeah.
Clean that up, and then that'll lead to next step, and then next step, and then next thing you know, you'll start seeing that positive energy come. Then you'll start seeing good luck things happen versus bad luck things happen.
Yeah.
And you have, all of a sudden things are flowing. All of a sudden you're wondering why you're making more money at work.
Yeah.
Things are easier.
Yep.
You just wonder, right? Because we've all run into people like that or worked with them. And when you try and present information like that, like, are they receptive? It's like, why are all these bad things happening to you? It's like, do they have like that victim mentality? Like, that's just my luck. Or it's like, do they actually get it where they're like, yeah, I'm actually not living with intention and I'm just going day to day and life is happening to me.
Bad things happen often to people who live in a life of chaos, right? You open the door for so many things.
That's self-inflicted chaos.
Right. It is. When your life's disheveled, when your bathroom's fucked up, when you're drinking all the time, when your car's fucked up, when you got stains on your shirt, you're welcoming bad things to happen. That person didn't treat me right. Well, look at you. Why would anybody respect you?
It's how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Correct.
That's also how you attract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To the next, right?
Right.
And lo and behold, he calls me up a few months later and he's like, first time in my life I paid my rent on time.
Oh, shit.
And it started from there, and ever since then he's been a lot more professional. He's just started changing. Everything started.
That's awesome.
It started happening.
Everything's a mirror.
A little bit of momentum.
Yeah, wait, it's not happening. Just like you said.
Everything is a mirror. I tell people all the time, you don't pay, like, especially people who own their own businesses. I deal with a lot of people that do what we do. They online coach, and they wonder when their business isn't doing well. And you're like, well, are you paying your bills on time? Right? Are you paying your mentor on time? Right? Are you, and if it's that situation, or it's like, so you expect people to be simple clients, easy to work with, pay you right away, pay you in full, but yet you don't do that stuff. Mm-hmm. How could you ask for that? You are hypocritical, but you're not even opening the door for success to come in. Yep. You have that door closed and locked up because of who would want to even come in. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think people think they can hide from it, but you cannot hide from it.
Nope.
You will attract what you put out, right? And that's really it. And it is that simple.
I mean, like I said, the most gratifying thing is seeing these people, actually pull themselves out of it and see it. Once they see it, it's really start to get into it and change, and that's the most gratifying part.
That's the light switch.
Yeah, some of my friends say, how do you do that? It's like so frustrating, this and that. I go, because I'm focused on that. I focus on the agenda. And
right.
when they finally get it, that's when it feels bad.
And I think a lot of times, right, like, a lot of the individuals that are gonna get it, and so you end up having more patience with them too, and you're just like I'm gonna walk this road with you, man. Like, just
Let's do this.
Yeah, you have a lot more patience because it's like when they do, you're like, that's like, that's my man. Like, hell yeah, that's the best. It's the best feeling. The light bulb, the switch. It's just like, now we're gonna have fun. Like, this is where really things start to progress for you. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. The intention. Mm-hmm. I believe that your success is a direct reflection of your intention. Mm. Meaning that if I'm in it because I want to see people grow, and that's really why I want to do this, then I will in fact grow. But if I want to do this to see myself grow, it's not going to work.
You always have to do things from a place of integrity.
Agreed.
Always.
Agreed.
I think you can do things disingenuinely, right? You can do things selfishly, and it might work, but it'll never work to the degree where you're coming from a good place. I mean, I've talked about that on our calls before. Mm-hmm. Having good intentions, leading with integrity, doing it for the right reasons. You can start a business with the intention of making money, but us, we're in a service business, right? We're coaches, right? So you have to come from a place of integrity.
Well, look at it when you do design your business plan, okay? Mm-hmm. And if anybody's ever written a business plan, you're going to write your mission statement, and nobody's mission statement would just be, no one would have the balls. And if you have the balls to do this, but no one's mission statement is my mission statement for my business is to pad my pockets, make myself famous, get the hot woman. That's not anybody's mission statement. So when you really build a business that you care about, like if you're going to have, I always use the ice creams. I don't know why, but I love using an ice cream store or ice cream, whatever.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Well, no, it's just, that's the example I like.
Oh, okay.
But I love the guy, like, let's say you open up your ice cream store and you make sure that all your little buckets are good. Your glass window that looks over the ice cream buckets is, spotless. You got the best scoopers. You got your front doors open. Welcome. It looks really beautiful in there. You got the white tiles, crystal clean. And when you look in your store, you're like, I'm proud of this. Yeah. Right? Because I'm going to put smiles on people's faces. Someone's a little kid's grandpa's going to take their grandchild in and make their entire day with a scoop of ice cream, right? That's what my intention is.
Then you're doing it with purpose.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah. I like the ice cream thing.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I think everybody can relate to the ice cream thing.
Especially even the handles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. First time.
Man, the fuck.
I just went there the first time.
Yeah.
So good.
And you always brought the handles before, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, you always said they had handles, and then you got the other ice cream shop next to it. I can't even remember the name of that one, but handles was the only one that had the line.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Right.
What's going on? So which one?
Because they clearly give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
They do. You walk by handles and you're like, oh my God, these people care.
We went there last weekend and we waited in line for 35 freaking minutes. I'm like, for ice cream? I was like, babe, what the fuck are we doing?
Was it worth it?
Oh my God.
Right.
No.
The product's great. The experience is great. everything's great about it.
It was just ice cream, but it was so goddamn good.
Well, it's never just ice cream.
No, it wasn't.
It's never just
it really
you're a
was.
fat kid at heart.
Oh, I am, but I'm not like a big ice cream guy. Though.
Oh, no?
No, not really. That's not like my thing. I'm more of like a sweet and salty whore. But yeah, I like crunch.
Okay.
Yeah, but that, oh my God. I was like, when are we coming back? It was good as fuck. Yeah, it was amazing.
Grab you like that. That'd be
That's what I'm saying. I was like,
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine, I know if a donut store, grabbed you, you would.
Oh, and Ladera?
Yeah.
We talked about apple fritters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I just learned, I was reminded what an apple fritter even was. I completely
We had to look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't really, no, that wasn't a go-to for me, was the apple fritter. No, I'm a cookie guy.
Yeah.
okay.
I am the metamorphosis.
You know what?
Of a cookie monster.
I'm gonna cut you off. This is what we're gonna do. This just came to me because I've been preaching to him about Padaria. Yeah, he knows.
Chunk cookies. Oh,
See, and he crumble.
Bavaria.
I'm just like, what?
Okay, I didn't bring you guys in to fucking gang up on
It's
my
gonna happen.
selection.
Chocolate peanut butter.
Yes, and the old
Waving a little bit.
God,
Oh,
it's incredible,
dude, I can't even, when I open up the cookies for me to take it to the microwave and wait. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding
Longest
me?
30 seconds.
Yeah. I eat half the cookie before I even decide to go get my glass of milk. I know myself. I'm going in.
Eat one half.
And then microwave.
And then try it with a microwave. It's unreal, man. And
Yeah.
the walnut chocolate chip one, that's one of my favorites.
They're all so good. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna do this now, is I'm gonna get Crumble and I'm gonna get Padaria, and we're gonna come in here and document it on the podcast. We're gonna do a cookie
That's
test.
a challenge.
Absolutely.
We're doing.
Viet's coming too. You're invited.
I know.
Yeah,
Here.
and their cold brew is amazing. The other cold brew, it's like a. I don't know if you're a coffee guy or not. I'm addicted to coffee, but their cold brew has got like a subtle like chocolate flavor to it. It's one of the best coffees I've ever had. I love it. I also come from Indiana, where there's only Starbucks and Dunkin', but it's so good.
Yeah.
Bavaria. Oh,
It's the bomb.
yeah, they're hardly ever open because like when it's selling, they close.
Yeah,
They're like,
and they close on.
I didn't get my cookie.
Yeah, and they're closed on Mondays. It's really dumb.
On Mondays.
Yeah, they're closed on Mondays. Stupid. So good though.
We got like the salon hours.
Bavaria. I can't. You know what Bavaria? You just moved out here.
So I did. Well, so I've been out here a lot, right? So my girlfriend Kristen, some way we're really young married, but anyway, besides the point, she's from Irvine, so she's from Southern California for the last 17 years. So we've been together for a little under a year or so. But when I used to come out here and visit her, we would go to Padaria. So the only reason I know about that is because of her.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, listen, I have my coach telling me that I'm allowed to have cookies.
Go.
Yeah, only under supervision.
Only, the thing is, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to. I remember there was once this guy that was like, I was like, hey, I'm going to take you to dinner, and he goes, yeah, but I need to pay, and I was like, okay, well, that's weird to say, and he's like, I don't want you to be in charge of how much I drink, and I'm like, okay, but now that just made me think of that because it's like, I got to go eat cookies with you. And well, I don't want you to, I got to pay. I'd pay anyways. I'm like, but I got to pay.
Check-in on Sunday is going to be real fun.
Yeah. We won't be going on a Saturday.
That is it.
That's awesome.
It's great to see. I mean, man, what a day. I get to not only sit here and talk to you, but I get to meet your coach too. I never thought.
Yeah.
I never thought.
Big day.
He brought you up many times, but
Bad things, I'm sure.
I would get
No, always. No, I think the world of
Come on. We always gotta have a coach.
Oh yeah.
I most of what I've learned how to do is straight up having a coach. I mean, why else am I going to sit here and keep trying to figure it out myself? What the hell am I thinking?
That's what we're talking. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
The most important thing. I'd rather just get the information and go.
Find the learning curve.
Man, man.
successful people value time over money.
Oh yeah.
It's a fact.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's come down to for me. It's time. Now, obviously, money you need to survive and everything, but you got to prioritize and ratio and balance it out where you got that time and enough money and everything else to make everything happy. If I'm honest, not being, balance.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. Just trying to make everything happy and balanced.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
It's a good part of life to be in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been amazing, and like every time I see Justin, I tell him all the time, I go, dude, if it wasn't for you, I don't know where the hell I'd be. I'd still be grinding. You know, still be grinding. I'd be at the same spot where I was, and you know, nothing wrong with grinding, but when you feel ball and chain, that's when
Yep.
it's not good. You
Yeah.
didn't want to feel ball and chain.
Well, yeah, especially for you, you know, you owned a successful business for so long, so you had that golden handcuff, right?
Yeah,
Where
because
it's not ball and chain. You are what you, yeah, it's a golden ball and chain because, right, you had, I mean, obviously it built a beautiful life for you and your family, but there's so much more. And you can have the same success, right, and do what you love to do because it's never working. When yeah, like, dude, I work 25 hours in a day, right? I love what I do, so it's never working for me.
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
And I still work on watches, believe it or not. I don't have my store anymore, but I still work on more watches than I can even handle. But I do it when I have the chance to. I am not stuck in the store, you know, with long hours or, oh, man, I got to rush up there and open the door. You know,
Right.
And then be grinding while I'm running the whole shop and everything. Now it's like, man, when I go to my warehouse and I'm working on a watch, it's just me and that watch. It's so peaceful.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And, you know, I just told one of my friends that the other day, I go, dude, when I love going to my warehouse, you know, just to work. It doesn't feel like work.
It's a different pressure now.
Yeah.
There's probably no pressure. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in there with my tools and whichever watch I'm working on, and it's just me and that watch, and there's no one pushing me, you know, dragging me here or pulling me over there, answering this phone call. Listen, I don't even have a phone in there. I'm just working on my watch. It's unbelievable. It's been great. And then at the same time, I go work out, coach, train still, do all the things that, like I said, that I love to do. And once you find that balance and you partition it throughout the whole day, and then the rest of the day is easy because it's just my kids,
Yeah.
my wife.
The things that really value, right?
Yeah, the things that really matter. And, you know, so now it's like, okay, I got my hobbies, and then I got my family, and then after that, well, of course, some friends,
Yeah.
relationships around you. That's all really that matters, time.
Yeah.
You know, so materialistic things are great. Of course, we all love it, nature. But man, when it really boils down to it, man, you really start to appreciate the other things, you know, the things that you
Yeah.
really think about.
See, I don't think there's a problem with materialistic things. Like I love materialistic things, right? No, but here's the thing about it is like, I think people think materialistic things like doesn't matter. No, it doesn't fucking matter. But I love cool shit. I love expensive watches because everything I learned today was just reinforced why I love them, right? I love cigars. They're cool. There's history behind it. There's something sweet about it.
You can afford anything you want. You are that well off. So it's not a problem. But you put your work into it, man. You put your back into it. You earn everything you have. You know, the problem is you got some guys that shouldn't be buying it. Can't afford it, but yet they're going to really stretch their neck out to get.
Because they want to look like it.
Yeah,
They
Well,
want to look like they.
I appreciate you saying that, but I've been very smart so far. You know, and there's been times where I've been like, hey, I want, like I've called you before. I've been like, I want this watch. And can I buy it? Of course I can fucking buy it. But it's like, you know, I could live without a $50,000. What did I want at the time?
It was a Rosehold GMT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that who you always post about?
Yeah.
I remember that post. The Rose Gold GM, or what's it called? GMT?
Yeah.
So this is the guy that the jeweler you always talk about? Oh, damn. All right. Never mind. No, I remember the post about the Rose Gold.
See, before he met me, he was
I had a relationship.
with another dealer.
Okay.
And I respect that. He's a loyal man.
Sure.
He's always been that. But any chance that, you know, if he can't do anything or he's stuck.
No, I'll start to migrate, but yeah, they've been very good to me. So, you know, obviously I do stay very loyal when I do business. I really, really do. But at the same time, you do business with me. So where does my loyalty, you know, reside really? So yeah, there's been instances and it is what it is, but my next one. My next one.
My first one.
Yeah.
When I decide to get a Rolex, I'll come to you, Viet. Yeah.
After this podcast, I bet you in your head, you're like, damn, I need one of these. No.
This is the amazing thing about this watch. And these timepieces. Like this one in particular, every single one of my timepieces has a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I like to set it that way because I won't be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm not here, these watches will still be here.
Yep.
And guess where they're going to go?
Up to the boys.
That's cool.
Go to my loved ones. And when each one has a story to go with it, it means that much more to them.
That's awesome.
I can't tell you how many times I've worked on a watch with a client gave me a watch and, let's say it's a 50-year-old Rolex and I serviced it. And then when I hand it back, they literally cannot believe what they see. It looks brand new again, obviously. Restored it. And he would, what this particular person I'm remembering about, because it hit me right now. Tears came down. And I asked him, I said, how much is this? It was my grandfather's.
That's awesome.
All I have of it. Okay. They bought it when he graduated from school. And I still have the box, still have the receipt, still have everything in it.
Oh, wow.
He goes, I cannot believe we did this to this watch. It's brand new again.
What was the piece?
Oh man, it was like an old Datejust.
Okay.
Like a really old Datejust. And it wasn't even automatic. It was a manual.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was that old. And,
Wow.
And he turned and looked at his two boys and he said, it's going to go to them.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's a watch like that? What is that worth nowadays?
It's not expensive. I mean, you probably buy one of those for, $2,500.
Oh, really?
But it wasn't that.
No, I understand. I just didn't know how, like that vintage watch, if they.
It's not about the money at that point.
No, I get that. I'm curious based on the age.
Yeah, it's like that. But I mean, he had a receipt and it was like $250.
Oh, really?
Wow.
When he bought it, and now you $2,500.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It cost him, I think at the time, $695 to fully service it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was more than what his grandfather did.
Sure.
But just seeing how happy he was when he got the watch, I mean, you could see the emotion that he just.
Let me ask you this. This is interesting to you because I don't have any, like, when it comes to cars, like you grew up with, being a watch dealer, being a watchmaker. I don't have any emotional attachment to cars at all.
Because they come out with different models all the time.
That's okay.
Let's say, this one's a 2023 GMT, Pepsi.
Yep.
Rolex, they never connotate the Rolex to a year.
Right.
That's why. Because, and when they do a facelift on it, they'll make it as subtle as possible so that it doesn't destroy the value of the other one.
Right.
If they do something special, they come out with a special color and it's only for a certain period of time and then they discontinue it, that's why it becomes such a highly collectible piece. It's even more valuable.
Yeah.
And that's why we hunt for pieces like that where, man, if I buy this 10 years from now, it's going to be worth like 5 times as much as I paid. It's unbelievable. So going back to this one, this is the Pepsi. This is my son's favorite watch.
Oh.
And I never had a Pepsi, right? I didn't have a Pepsi. I had the Batman, I had the Batman, I had the black GMT, I had all of them. I didn't have a Pepsi. And my son was like, yeah, like the Batman. I said, this is going to be yours, man. We talking about the Batman. Don't you love Batman? I'm trying to talk him into it. Yeah, it's cool, but I like the Pepsi. What do you know about the Pepsi? It was that red and blue.
It's dope.
So I went online and I said, okay, you know what? This one's yours. But you're going to earn it. And I said, I'm going to take care of it for you until, but this was yours. He's just so like, wow. Okay. So when this one does go to him, it's, he's going to see me. I've worn it a couple of times here and there, but I don't wear this daily. And when I hand it to him, it's going to be a special moment, obviously. Mm-hmm. It's going to have that story behind it. Every single one of them has something attached to it, some emotional achievement.
Yeah.
And that's how these watches become priceless, timeless, special.
Yep.
You hand them down and they don't look at it as cha-ching, like I'm going to go sell it and flip it and whatever.
No, it's valuable. It's
much more valuable now.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's the great thing about these special timepieces, you know, they're hand built. They're well assembled, hand lubricated, hand timed. Everything's, you know, it's not pumped out by a mass produced, you know, robot machine.
Is this something that you had intentions on doing, like from the start, like getting your Rolexes and passing them down and making sure that they had a story tied, or
It's tradition, really. I mean,
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's why it sounded like a crown for every achievement, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I'm still in the iWatch game, so
absolutely. Like the Apple Watch is a great watch, and it would do a lot more functionality than my Rolex.
No, yeah.
but I love that.
8 times more things, right?
But I love what you said though, right? Like,
Next year they're gonna come up with another one.
oh, for sure.
The year after that, another one. Then the year after that,
Yeah.
another one. After you wore that one for 5 years, you're gonna throw it away and get another one.
Yeah, I wouldn't give this to my son Jax.
Yeah, see,
What the hell is this?
for the difference is not to say anything bad about the Apple Watch.
Oh no, it's just apples and oranges.
How you perceive its jewelry.
Well, it's so interesting though, because like you know that Rolex is supposed to be known for its craftsmanship, right, and the details. So like I knew that, but I didn't know the extent. I learned so much just on talking to you guys. Oh, it's so great. No, that's awesome. And so like I've always liked watches, right? Like we talked before. It's like I want to mention like I used to have an Invicta, but I was never into watches like you guys are into watches, but I always appreciate a nice watch.
Yeah.
So for me, like that was actually a milestone for me to get a Rolex at some point. And a lot of that is going to be attached to a high earn for me for one of my, yeah. So that being said, like I absolutely love, like I'm going to do exactly what you did for sure. Like it's going to mean something and I'm going to give it to my son Jax at some point. So that's why I said it was interesting to me to hear you say that and talk about the one that you fixed for that guy. So I was curious if that was something that you had always planned on doing or if that was something that maybe you got from him or somebody.
You know, obviously, when we have kids, they are an extension of ourselves.
Yep.
Right? When I'm no longer here, he lives on. That's where I will continue.
Right.
So, you know, you love your kids more than you can imagine, you know, if you're obviously your parent. But, you know, you love them so much, you give them everything you can. And there's nothing better to give them something that's timeless that they can hand down as well and continue to tell that story.
Yep.
Yeah, anyone, let's be honest, you want to leave a legacy.
Exactly.
Right.
You know? Especially no better than our own kids and grandkids and so
Yep,
for sure.
great grandkids and stuff. You know, man, it's nothing better than to have that story. My dad's a watchmaker. My uncle was a watchmaker. Well, my uncle, my great uncle, my father's uncle. And I followed their footsteps, and you know, I owe a lot to the watchmaking industry because you know where we come from. My parents left Vietnam when you know Vietnam fell as the communists.
Yeah.
And they were immigrants. They came here with nothing. I mean, not just with a shirt on their backs. You know, not even they couldn't even speak English. I can't even imagine them doing that.
No, right.
I just got dropped into another country, everything taken away from me, and I can't even speak their language. Like it's, you know.
You ever think about that when you come across struggle or you feel like you're struggling with some things? If you ever think,
Yeah, at the time I go,
yep,
dude, this ain't
yeah,
compared with my
like they would laugh at you.
yeah. I won't complain.
Yep.
I will take it in stride because I'm going, dude, I can't imagine what my parents went through. You know.
Yep.
But having immigrant parents has got to open your eyes up a lot more. Like we wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? Like we just don't understand. I don't know. I mean, I don't assume that your parents are
Yeah.
Midwest people.
No, they're black.
Oh yeah. But you know, like, yeah, like it's not.
Oh shit!
Like,
Edit that one out, Steve.
mark that one.
Scratch.
Let me ask you, I want to nerd out for just a second before we end this. So I, you know, obviously I have a sub. I love my sub. It's to me the black and gold two-tone is like the most mean looking color way of Rolex. But then I bought a GMT too, and it's like a whole different ball game. And I see GMT and subs are usually like priced. There's some subs are more than GMTs and whatever, but the overall, the bezel design of the GMT, the fact that it rotates both ways.
Two different functions.
Okay.
Reasons. Yeah.
Explain.
So the submariner is a unidirectional turn bezel. The reason why is that bezel is designed for you to go underwater and dive. When you're underwater and you're wearing a tank, you have a certain amount of time that you got to get back up, else you're going to air and die. Your life depends on it.
Okay.
So if you accidentally get down there and you bump your bezel and it turns, you're only gonna force yourself to come up early.
Oh,
You lose time. So you don't
that's why it is only one direction. Okay. Wow.
So you turn that, the crescent triangle to the minute hand.
Yep.
And as the minute hand rotates around, it points to the bezel. So when you're underwater and there's limited vision, you can see how many minutes have elapsed. It's a quick timing mechanism. So if you accidentally bump it, instead of thinking you were only down here for 20 minutes, it actually thinks if you actually move it, it'll say you're down there for 25. Just in case you actually moved it 5 minutes, for instance, you're just going to come up 5 minutes earlier, no harm, no foul.
Right.
You're not going to die. But if you bump, let's say it wasn't unidirectional,
And you bumped it the other direction.
and you thought you were down there for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
Yep.
actually down there for 25. Now you run out of air, you're gone. So that's why.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I asked that because I wondered that. I was like, is it just an upgrade? You know what I mean? But there's a purpose. I would imagine that there's a purpose behind everything. So what's the purpose by having
This
a
one is a pilot's watch. It's a traveling watch. So a pilot can turn the triangle to the hour, and if you're, let's say Switzerland, it's 9 hours forward. You can look at that and you turn it 9 hours forward. And the hour hand is already pointing at the Swiss time, as well as you can move the hour hand independently. So you can adjust.
right? Okay, so that's why there's 20. Okay, that makes a lot of
If you're a
sense.
pilot and you're flying through time zones, if he was very picky with the time zones, every time he flies through the time zone, he was clicking. So he would know, like, oh, I'm currently Eastern time, listen to that. He could easily look at his watch and know what time he is where he's flying.
Fucking cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's
I'm more of a pilot than a diver. I'll tell you that.
it's just different. I mean, they made it more dressy,
Yeah.
believe it or not. So a sub is more, okay, if you're a diver, you're rugged.
Right.
You're in the water, you're just more corrosive.
Yeah.
Salt water is very highly corrosive. You got the minerals in there that really beat it up. So the finish would be affected. So if you notice on the sub, they only use oyster bracelets.
Yep.
And it's fully sand.
Yep.
There's no high polished center link. Versus GMT, whether it's a Jubilee bracelet or an oyster bracelet, they polish that center
Yep.
to make it more flashy, more dressy. Because
Yeah.
it's a pilot watch. You're not diving.
Right, right.
Even though you can't take it in the water.
That's cool.
But it's not used for that. Most
That's I'm so glad I asked that question because most people when they if you looked at a Submariner next to a GMT2, you would be to the normal eye you'd be like, oh, they look very similar, what's the difference? But no, you're definitely right. They both, like, when you like, and I didn't know this stuff, but I know watches enough to know like, if that guy's got a GMT on,
you're becoming a connoisseur.
expensive connoisseur.
It's amazing, right? It's fun.
It is.
It's what it's about.
It is.
Yeah, so much fun. They're little machines on your wrist. They're literally ticking machines on your wrist.
It's fucking cool.
That's wild.
It is so cool. When I take these apart, I still marvel at all the parts sitting in my tray. And you got to expect every wheel, pivot, every jewel, everything. It's got to be perfect. Paint wood, clean. It's all go through the solutions, everything. All the oils are completely disintegrated.
Wow.
It's surgically clean, ultrasonically.
Wow.
And, as you assemble, you're inspecting everything over again.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it in a manner where the next watchmaker, if it's not immediate, would never even know I was there.
Yeah.
That's how it's done, right?
That's awesome.
No scratches, finish stays perfect, oils put in perfectly. Nothing's over oiled and nothing's under oiled.
Yeah, just very meticulous.
It has to be.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, there's hundreds of parts in there.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
What's your favorite piece?
Oh man, that's hard to ask who's your favorite child.
We'll ask that one next.
It would be like vacation.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the black tie event. You wear a different watch versus,
Would you rock like probably a day date?
Yeah. Day would be missile.
Sky Dweller.
I love Sky Dweller. It's very versatile.
You have the blue face Sky Dweller. That thing's gnarly.
That's one of my favorites, probably, because I can wear casual or dress up with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big watch. It's not like it's like wearing a date dress. It's even bigger.
Yeah. I did not like my Sky Dweller. I told you I had it. I got rid of it like within a
Very
month.
surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't. Well, I wanted. You want to know why? You want to know why? So the first thing is that I had to buy it with an oyster bracelet, and I didn't. I wanted the rubber.
Oh, you want rubber?
I wanted rubber, and they didn't. You couldn't get an oyster flex bracelet for it at that time. Like I couldn't find anyone. I couldn't find one for it. You couldn't just buy the bracelet. Like there were like aftermarket ones. I didn't know you at this time, right? Oh, I did. I think I just met you, but I didn't really know to ask. So I couldn't find anything. You could find like aftermarket ones, but I wasn't going to put
I
up.
actually could get it. I turned my Batman into 3 different watches. So I have the oyster, I have the Jubilee bracelet that I can switch back, and the oyster flex. So I put the oyster flex in here so I could actually turn a Batman into a rubber bracelet. And the crazy thing about it is you think it's rubber, but they call it oyster flex for a reason. Inside of that rubber is actually titanium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's lined with titanium. That's why they call it oyster flex. Watch brands were coming out with rubber bracelets for a while, and then Rolex never did it until all of a sudden they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're late to the game. What the heck happened? Like, what were you waiting for? And they were testing them. They said, so they didn't just want to make a rubber bracelet, because the problem with rubber bracelets is if someone just goes and sees you wearing it, they can run by and just grab it right off the wrist. Oyster bracelet reacts like the metal bracelet. But also the oyster flex, which is the rubber strap that you're talking about, can't rip it off like that. It's actually very securely lined inside, so it's thick. It's not
Nice.
You're seeing guys with like rose gold Daytonas, and they dress them down with the rubber, and they'll rock it with a tuxedo. It's a really cool look. I get really specific by the bracelet, like on a GMT too. Like just depending on the color, like the color scheme, like this watch looks best with the Jubilee, but I think that a full rose gold root beer would look best with an oyster. You know what I mean? And it's funny, like those little intricacies are, it's why I love Rolex. We could talk about this all day long. Guys, listen, if you liked this show, and I hope you did, this was probably my favorite. This was my favorite. If you guys like this, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, share, like all of this stuff. Go check out Viet at Viper Viet. Go check out Brandon at Brandon Beckrich, right?
Brandon J. Beckrich.
Brandon J. Beckrich. We'll put all their contact information below. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, you fucking rock. We are out. Thanks again. Thank you, Viet. Thanks, B.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys, that wraps up an episode of the Wolves Only podcast. Listen, if you guys like what you heard, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and comment, help us get our message out there. If you want to work with our team, go ahead and click the link in the description below. Schedule a call with us. We'd love to get you on. We really appreciate you guys listening. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to us on all forms of social media. Thank you so much.